Nutrition Lesson 3 at Camp Kayana focuses on food labels. We really want campers to know what you really need to know when looking at a food label. The first step is to look at the serving size. Here are a few guidelines. 1 cup is about the size of your fist, a half a cup the size of your palm. 3 ounces of meat or protein is about the size of a small deck of cards. The first step when looking at food labels is to notice what a serving size is. Sometimes these serving sizes can be pretty confusing. For example, PAM cooking spray indicates that a serving size is half of a second. Well, it's almost impossible to squirt it so quickly, and most people are using a much longer spray than that when preparing a pan to cook a meal. But the food industry can get away with saying that cooking spray has 0 fat if you only spray it for half of a second. So it's a little confusing. Another example is that a bag of popcorn might include 2 to 3 servings. So you look at the number of calories and the fat and sodium included in a bag of popcorn. Well, that would be great if you're actually sharing that bag of popcorn with 2 to 3 other people. But if you're eating the whole bag by yourself, you're getting a lot more calories and more fat and sodium content than it actually suggests when you just look at the food label without taking into account the serving size. Next, we'll look at the number of calories. While you're at Camp Kayana, campers are on 1,800 calorie meal plan. 2,000 is the daily recommended for an adult who is not on a healthy weight management plan. Tracking your meals is a great way to start healthier eating habits. It helps us better understand how many calories and which food groups or food categories our calories are coming from. For example, mac and cheese might have only a certain number of calories, but over half of those calories are coming from fat. And remember, we want other food groups included in our daily diet. We might want to limit the number of fats, sugars, cholesterol, and sodium that we're taking in each day. A lot of our yellow and red foods include these food types, and they are part of a healthy meal plan. But we want to focus first on increasing our green foods or adding more fiber, protein, vitamins A and C, calcium, and iron to our meal plan because these give our body great nutrition and help us become healthier. Green foods should always be added to your meal plan, and it's helpful to focus on adding healthy foods or green foods rather than feeling like you have to limit or restrict other foods. Sometimes focusing on just what we want to add to our meal plan and feeling like we're increasing our nutrition rather than thinking that we have to limit or restrict certain foods can be a more helpful way of thinking about it. You might also start to think about healthy swaps. So can I switch a yellow or red food for a green food that I like too? That's giving my body better nutrition, but helps me get healthier along the way. Some of the basic tips we might think about when reading nutrition labels include always looking for 5 or more grams of fiber and being sure to check in on the number of sugar or the number of grams of sugar our drinks or our foods have. When we're thinking about granola bars or energy drinks, we are looking for 0 grams of sugar or fewer grams of sugar than alternatives. Counselors can help campers understand food labels by identifying the food items in your meal plan that are high or low in sugar, fat, and fiber, for example. You might comment about how you're excited on the day that we're having brownies because brownies are tasty, they are high in sugar, and they give you an initial rush. But it's also important to recognize that that sugar rush and the high fat and sugar in a brownie might affect your energy later on in the afternoon. You can also notice, again, for example, how fiber helps you fill up and have a healthy bathroom break the next day. Remember, fiber is in foods like berries, broccoli, and pasta. Discuss or ask about how food labels on foods outside of camp might look. For example, if campers are having sugary cereals for breakfast, that's high in sugar and it's likely to not be keeping them filled up for very long, but maybe they could make a healthy swap to have more green foods, like an oat or granola breakfast with a portion of fruit that has lots of good minerals. You can comment about how some foods fill you up, while other foods might be tasty but leave you wanting more. Foods that are high in sugar and fat taste great, but they might leave us feeling like we want to eat more and more of those because they're not giving our body very good nutritional value. On the other hand, when we eat berries, we're able to fill up more quickly and feel satiated with a smaller portion because our body gets what it needs. You can remind campers that these food labels can be deceptive. We know that these companies create confusing or small portion sizes just to stay within recommended daily values, even though they might have large portions of sugar, fat, sodium, or carbohydrates. So if you're eating more than one serving, which does happen a lot, we might end up eating more than is recommended of some food types. You can help campers identify important nutrition facts. Consider the protein, sugar, fiber, and carbohydrates that help you get a sense for the nutrition in a food. How full is it going to help you feel? Or how much of a sugar rush might you experience after that food? Ask campers about their experience when they're having a meal, using some mindfulness. So focusing on the senses that you notice while eating a certain food. You can observe how the food feels when you're picking it up off your plate. What does it smell like as you approach your nose and mouth? How does it taste? And what texture of the foods can you notice as you move the food in your mouth and chew it?